The material and information contained within the Chatting with Cumberland podcast is for general information purposes only. You should not rely upon the material or information on the website as a basis for making any business, legal, or other decisions. While we endeavor to keep the content and resources of Chatting with Cumberland current and accurate, the Cumberland Board of County Commissioners, Administration, and all departments and affiliates make no representations or warranties of any kind, express or implied, about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability, or availability with respect to services, show content, and guest opinions contained on the Chatting with Cumberland for any purpose. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not representative of that of county commissioners, administration, or employees unless expressly specified. The Chatting with Cumberland podcast will be discussing sensitive topics such as suicide, sexual abuse, drug use, mental health, and domestic violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi, everybody. This is Chatting with Cumberland. Beth Thomas?
Hey, Frank.
What's up?
We have special guests in the house today.
How excited are we?
I am very excited.
You want to introduce the fine lady to your left?
I would love to. So everybody, this is Jill Mossbrooks. Jill is a woman that I have known and admired for many years. She is the mother of 2 children that have chronic health conditions, intellectual and developmental disabilities, which I'll let her discuss. And I'm just very glad that she's on the show. Thank you, Jill.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I have the pleasure of introducing Miss Nicole Stemberger, licensed clinical social worker of the Care Management Organization, Rutgers graduate, both secondary and postgraduate work there at Rutgers, your undergrad. And we're going to be covering today intellectual disabilities and developmental delays and the children's system of care.
And
Sound
mental
about right?
health services in Cumberland County.
Very good. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you.
Welcome, Jill. Thank you so much for being good sports and coming on Chatting with Cumberland. We're really happy to have you. So the first question I kind of wanted to ask is, what brings you both in today? How did you get hooked up with Chatting with Cumberland?
I got the invite from Beth and yourself. Thank you very much for reaching out to us at CMO. Originally, you went through our community resource department, which is the right way to go to kind of get us. But he was unavailable today, so I thought I would come on. I've been a colleague of Frank and Beth for a long time, and I just appreciate being part of this conversation today.
We go back a few years, huh? Salem County. Nicole and I worked together in Salem, and it's so happy to see you back here in Cumberland.
Thank you.
And in your new interim role as the director of the Care Management Organization.
Thank
Congrats. Miss Jill?
Hi, my name's Jill Mossbrooks, and I actually got invited through Beth. I called her last week. I've been a parent now of 2 children with special needs for, 24 years altogether. And I still have times where I need to ask for help, and I think it's a common theme for mothers that have special needs children that we have a difficult time asking for help. And that's how I actually got invited into this show today, and I was like, I'm kind of nervous, but then again, I can't mess up my own story. And my children are Max Mossbrooks, he's 24, he has cerebral palsy. And my younger son is Philip Mossbrooks. He's 20, and he has autism.
Very good. And so what are some of your roles currently, Nicole, and how do you help folks like Jill within the children's system of care and the Care Management Organization?
Yep. Well, in New Jersey, we have a system of care, which we're really proud of as New Jerseyans. We have different services that are offered. One of the things that we do in care management is we offer wraparound services. So that would mean that we work with families to build a team and address your needs through this team. What is really unique and important about the services we do is that we are individualized, right? So we look at the needs that you have, the strengths that you and your family have, and we build that into the path going forward. In addition to being individualized, we pay attention to the family voice, right? We want you to drive where we take things. We listen to youth in our system. We stay really dedicated to the mission of being culturally competent, of being informed and letting families really take us where they need to go. So I think having a service like that with connection to experts who can help us, delivering services sometimes in your home, that these things are sometimes helpful in getting you to meet the goals that you have for your family.
So what are some of the biggest challenges, Jill, that you've had with your two children? Now you have Max, who's 24.
Correct.
And has cerebral palsy, right?
Correct.
And we also have Philip, who's 26 and currently has autism, right? Was
Yes.
diagnosed with autism. What is that like on a day-to-day for you with regards to care and, being a mom?
Well, first and foremost, as a mother, it's hard really to truly accept that your kids have problems. You want to look the other way. You want to think maybe they'll outgrow it. Accepting that there's a disability that needs to be addressed is a difficult challenge as being a mother of special needs. And it's a wide range, from the school district to the healthcare system, to finding the doctors, and just, allowing the kids into the society, because society looks at my children as they're broken, and they're not. It's all about the perspective, I guess. So, I'm just going to talk about a few things in the past that we've had difficulty with. Getting private duty nursing for my son. He received it, and then he was denied it. And he has a few different health insurance companies also. So, we had to go to court. And I guess, you just can't quit. You just have to persevere through the channels. It is easy, you get tired and worn down. And for my other son, Philip Mossbrooks, we had a difficult time with the school system. They wanted to keep him in district, and district couldn't accommodate his needs. So sometimes you think that the school district is out to help your child, but a lot of the times it has to do with the money. They don't want to pay the extra for the child that needs a little bit more help. So it's, about asking for help, calling special child health, or trying to find another mother that has been through what you're going through, when I don't think there's enough support groups out there for mothers like us.
And that's kind of a part of what we do here, Jill, on Chatting with Cumberland, is connect local folks with local available resources. Because, having some time doing the work that I do as a youth services administrator and as a government professional, we tend to wear many hats and we juggle a lot of plates, right? And when we're talking about the complexity of the children's system of care, all the cogs and the people that kind of make this great system work, right? It's a lot to take in. And if you're already overwhelmed with having personal struggles or having your children affected with a disability that may be costly, that may be in terms of care and upkeep, it's a lot emotionally, I feel. And I think that if we continue to have conversations that are open and honest like these, and provide people with the resources, as you said, which are in the description of this episode, by the way, we hope to kind of make it a little bit easier and a little bit more fluid. And my question to Nicole and Jill are this. Typically, what population, now when we're talking about Philip, he's 26, right?
He's 20.
20.
20. At what point did you realize that he was having characteristics of autism, like he was displaying symptoms of autism?
Well, I'm not an MD, but I had a special needs book because of Max, and I started to notice, at the age of 16 months, that, it was the eye contact, it was the self-stimming, it was, he wouldn't look at you, he would always look away. I knew in my heart, because I used to babysit a lot, and I've been around a lot of children, and I was a substitute teacher. I just knew in my heart there was something wrong with them, and I just continued to tell the doctor there's something wrong with them. I don't say it. And we did end up taking him to Children's Hospital, and he had the ADOS test done up there, and they told me he's autistic, and I said, I knew it. Now let's do something about it. Let's get the services he needs.
Right. So what
just-
was your first step? Like when you figured it out, you got the clear diagnosis, then
He
what?
was in an inclusion preschool in another district over from us, Upper Deerfield. We live in Hopewell. We had a child study team meeting. I called another child study team meeting because a lot of parents think you can only have one child study team meeting a year for your IEP, and that's not true. You can call a child study team meeting and they have to respond within 20 days. And because children's services, I mean, they changed. Like something that he needed the year before might not be the same issue the following year.
Yeah.
So it's advocating and just, telling your child study team, listen, we need to come to the table unless you just want to add an addendum. It's your choice,
Yeah.
And, yeah.
For folks tuning in for the first time that may not be familiar with the topic that we're covering, what is a child study team?
A child study team is through your school district. A lot of the times a child study team will diagnose your child for placement. A lot of the times they might get a diagnosis from a medical facility like CHOP. And then they have to, it's an individualized education plan for your child, what their needs are and how the child study team is supposed to help you get your children's needs met.
Okay.
And sometimes it can't always happen in the sending school district. And for some children, they need to go out of district. And that's a difficult thing to do, but it is possible.
Right. So now, Nicole, in the children's, the care management organization of Cumberland, Gloucester, and Salem counties, what advice for a person that may need some assistance, as Jill did, to kind of get started, coming from the care management perspective, what advice would you give someone like Jill to get started?
Well, I think you have been a fantastic advocate and knowledgeable and know when to trust your instinct, these are all qualities that help get your kids' needs met. I think we could probably do a better job of making sure that we get connected to families early on so they're aware of the resources. Because as you mentioned, kids with special needs, their needs change. And you may always need some, touching base with another provider. So I think that everything you've been doing is you've been a fantastic advocate in guiding your kids through services. And that I do appreciate that you use your child study team to get needs met, and that maybe we could be a better partner with child study teams. We've doing a lot of presentations throughout the years with Kayak's help to really make school personnel aware of what the children's system of care has to offer. And we're lucky enough that I know even Cumberland County especially, we've done presentations in local schools. We reach out to child study team directors and their staff to make sure that they know we're here. And we've had many good experiences working together with them. So I think that partnership is really important.
Right, and I would agree. Beth, what do you think about Perform Care and its accessibility to folks like Jill and others who may need services for their children?
I'll come back to that in 1 second. I just want to comment on something that Jill had said. Parents do need to trust their instincts. There are so many parents that just know. They know their child. They might not know what it is, but they just know that something's
off.
Isn't quite the way that they think it should be.
Something's askew. Right?
And I just encourage parents to please follow up with that like Jill did, because you do. You know you're the expert for your child.
Yeah.
And the rest of us are just here to support you.
So we're talking about medical professionals, boom, at the hospital. You got the test, came back, positive, that, for a diagnosis for autism. Then you saw the child study team more than one time, right? Did you ever reach out to Perform Care, which is the contract administrator for Children's System of Care?
During all of that, my children were both already under the Division of Developmental Disabilities, so it wasn't Perform Care when I actually had them signed up for the Division of Developmental Disabilities. But my children had a community care waiver. Philip was 6 and Max was 10. And that was actually a loophole in the system because we could not get SSI for my children because of my husband's income. That's the way the system is set up. It's not based on just the disability, but it's based upon the income that your family income. So we did the DDD CCW/Medicaid waiver, And both of my children were on that until Max was 21 and he was removed. But I'm going to say we had a case manager come to our house every single year, and I would ask about different services. Oh, don't worry about that. Just wait till they're 21. So even though there were services that they were entitled to or that they were available, you really have to ask a lot of questions as a mother of being special needs children, because nobody's coming knocking on your door and saying, hey, I heard you have 2 special needs kids. How can we help? Here's a whole bunch of services your kids can get. Instead, you might know about the service and they might tell you, oh, well, don't worry about that one right now. We'll
Really?
get to that when they get older.
Wow.
I do want to clarify, though, that the waiver that Jill is talking about for her children, it went away. So families cannot get that same waiver now under DDD. It used to be a loophole to get Medicaid, and that went away. And then over the years, DDD, the Division of Developmental Disabilities, switched in 2013 to Perform Care. So now Perform Care provides that service.
And so what is Perform Care, Beth? I know this is one of your specialties. You are the expert in
Well, at this table, I would say Nicole's the expert,
Yeah.
but I'll do my best, and then you can. My spiel to families is that Children's System of Care contracted with Perform Care to provide services to children under the age of 21 who may have an intellectual or developmental disability, who may have a behavioral issue or concern, or who may have a substance use disorder. Under that Perform Care umbrella, it's a call center, so families could call, talk about what their concerns are, what's happening in the household, and then hopefully get whatever's the next step. Whether it's mobile response, it could just be a referral to 3 agencies in your community based on your insurance. It could be maybe a more specialized program such as the partial hospitalization. It all depends on what the concern is.
Sure.
And then under that umbrella, if it's a behavioral concern and if it's been, I guess, documented, and this is where you can come in, at some point, if it's pretty significant behavioral issues, then some of my children have gotten CMO services, Care Management Organization.
Yes.
And again, I will defer everything to you, but I just want to mention for those children with intellectual or developmental disabilities, there's an application that is filled out. And if the child is found eligible, which means if they have a diagnosis that affects significantly 3 areas of development, then they might be eligible for family support services and specialized behavioral supports.
Great.
So that's why I encourage that for any family under 21.
And just to be clear, Nicole, so Perform Care is the administrator. The Care Management Organization we'll call a branch of on the down line there.
Yep.
And then you also partner with family support organizations pretty closely, right? They
Yes.
kind of go hand in hand under DCF, don't they?
Yes, the Family Support Organization is a partner of ours. The FSO here in Gloucester, Cumberland, and Salem, they provide services to all families. They have a warm line so that families can call and ask questions about resources, get support. The folks that work at the FSO all have had a child with some sort of either disability, mental health issue, an experience with our system. So they really are coming at this job and working with families based on personal experience and their own knowledge. These folks are able to run groups in the community, support groups. You should check out their website, the FSO's website, so you can see what activities they are doing. In addition to the warm line, some activities, when a youth is open with the CMO, the Care Management Organization, they can be assigned a peer support worker. And that person can help advocate with the family. They can be part of their
Right.
child family team. And that's a really helpful component to what we do. So they're strong partners, the FSO. So that
Sure.
is definitely a component that we offer to families, that they can work hand in hand with our team.
Yeah. And for those interested in checking out the website, the address is www.cgsfso.org. That's Cumberland, Gloucester, Salem Family Support Organization. Please check them out. We have a great crew in Cumberland, Gloucester, and Salem. Their offices are on Delsey Drive currently, and the director is Lionel Woodley. Please give him a call and tell him Frank sent you. It's a little little plug for our board there. So, kind of also, Beth, dialing back a little bit, you mentioned something that I really, really wanted to get out there, and I was hoping that Nicole could elaborate a little bit more. But before your role as interim director in care management organization, you worked in mobile response, right?
Yes.
So what if I told you, the audience, that if you were having an escalated situation in your home, whether it was a fight, whether it was a bad argument, maybe a meltdown from one of your children, just something that's maybe a little over encumbering and you need some assistance, mobile response stabilization services, otherwise known as mobile, can be dispatched by Perform Care when you call their line. It's 1-877-652-7624. They can dispatch a mobile response with professionals that are amazing in mental health and resources that can show up at location, de-escalate the situation, and open up cases through the care management organization and family support organization to get you hooked up with services. And that's one of the great things that New Jersey has rolled out over the years, is being able to dispatch a mobile unit with professionals to your home in under an hour anywhere in New Jersey. Can you
Frank?
tell us a little bit about it?
I just want to clarify, too, it's not just to the home. It can be to the school with parent consent.
Indeed. They can, any location in New Jersey, right? Within the perimeter,
Absolutely.
under an hour.
Yep, it's important for our system that we are accessible in the community where we're needed. Mobile response is one of those services that you can access through Perform Care when there's an urgent need, when there's an escalation, and they can deliver that service to you face-to-face. They can also are now offering telehealth options, so there's a lot of flexibilities for families. Mobile response works with you for 3 days to help with quelling the situation and linking you to the next steps.
Right.
They're very connected to the resources we have in the community. They make very good recommendations that are strong and try to help stabilize your family.
Right.
And they can connect you to care management if they feel like the youth meets those needs.
Which is more the long term.
That's
so
right.
So like mobile response is the short term, immediate, emergent.
Yes.
And then they connect you to care management organization, which is more the like 3 to 6 month period, would you say?
Right. Yep, and we can work with youth.
I'm sorry, can you just clarify? Because I know that some with mobile response have it up to 8 weeks.
Yes, that's true. Mobile has a component to work
Okay.
up to 8 weeks with families to stabilize them and make referrals. And at that point, they can refer to care management or other resources in the community. So that's a really strong connection that we have. This is why our system works well together, that we can be connected in these ways. I wanted to just clarify also that you can also get care management, not just through mobile, but when you do call Perform Care, if you're expressing a moderate or high need that your child is experiencing, what they can do is provide you a needs assessment. So that's an assessor. It's a licensed clinician who would come to your home and be able to assess and see what level your child needs. And they can also make recommendations in terms of community resources or connections to CMO.
Yeah. Nicole, it sounds like a no-brainer to me. You know, as a person who doesn't come from this work, when we have high stress situations, we don't maybe not have access or knowledge of all the resources that are available to us. To me, this seems like a godsend. I call this phone number, somebody who knows what's going on, that can keep everything cool, will hook me up right now, and then also later down the line with who I need to see and who my family needs to see. And that's why I'm a big advocate of getting this out there, because, not all of us are experts. So to have a phone number with an easy contact, mobile response is great, who then can hook you up with the longer term services if you need them. So
Frank, I just want to mention that also it's very good for families to know that when they call Perform Care, it is a call center.
Mm-hmm.
So if they happen to get someone who's not quite understanding their
Right.
concerns, or maybe isn't talking to them about services like Nicole's doing now, that they can ask for a supervisor.
Right.
And that, they can go up the chain. They don't have to accept no as an answer right off the bat if they know that there's a need.
yeah,
Because that's one thing I know families have encountered.
be a good advocate for yourself and ensure that the person who's hearing your needs and your issues is really listening, and that's what we try to do on a local level, is to help families sometimes get through some of the difficulties of getting connected with those services and instantly linking them. So going back to Jill's story, we mentioned your son Philip, but I kind of wanted to talk about Max as well. He's currently 24, right? Diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about cerebral palsy and what challenges that you kind of had to go through with that, and how you began to overcome them and get help with them?
So cerebral palsy is like muscular skeletal. It also affects, in my son, it also affected his verbalization, so he is nonverbal, and he's a quadriplegic, so it's affected his whole entire body. So when he was diagnosed, we had a difficult time with our health insurance. So I do want to say there is a hospital called Shriners Hospital.
Shriners?
Yes, that helped us immensely with like different pieces of durable medical equipment that we needed, and it didn't cost us anything.
Wow.
It's in Philadelphia.
What kind of equipment are we talking?
Like the Moffos for his feet. He needed like a brace for his back.
Right.
They help, I do believe, with wheelchairs. And I mean, the list could go on and on.
Yeah, and
So-
we'll list the notes and the link in the description for you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
all orthopedic needs
Yeah,
can be met by
orthopedic
Shriners.
needs. But we took Max to DuPont Hospital, and that's where he spent his career. But I do want to touch base on a wonderful, wonderful place. It's called a Catastrophic Illness, and it's in the state of New Jersey. And they help with modified vehicles. They bought Max his first minivan, and they paid for the modification. We also put an addition on the back of our house with a handicap bathroom, lowered windows so he could see out because he's in a wheelchair. We had the doorways 40 inches so we could get his wheelchair and maneuver him through the house. And Catastrophic Illness paid for the $29,000 of the of our addition, and then they also paid for a cement ramp down the side of our house so he could get in and out of our house. So the thing with catastrophic illness is that you have to pay for it up front. You have to keep all of your bills. So I recommend you just get like a huge plastic tub and just put everything in there. And then you fill out an application and you have a case manager come down from catastrophic illness that will help you, to get reimbursed for your expenses. And it takes sometimes 6 to 9 months, maybe a little bit longer now. But it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that the state of New Jersey has that I don't know if a lot of parents know about.
Sure.
Also, the Division of Developmental Disabilities will also help with home modifications.
Right.
And Max just had a ceiling lift put in with a harness, so it will help. It's like a Hoyer lift. It will help lift him from his bed into his wheelchair. So, when they do max out of being 21 and they can't utilize catastrophic illness, Perform Care is also there, and the Division of Developmental Disabilities is also there to help.
That's
So
great.
I do want to clarify, the catastrophic illness program is based on a person's income. So the bills that you accrue have to be 10% of your income up to $100,000, or 15% after that $100,000 of anything in the house. And it is a reimbursement program. It's the only one I know that does the modified vehicles. It'll do up to $15,000 right now for the vehicle itself, and then the modification itself
Right.
is a separate cost. But I do want to mention that everybody wants to be payer of last resort. So they would encourage our families under 21 to go through Perform Care first and see if those modifications can be provided in any way, and then they would deduct that from whatever they do.
Once again,
That's
it's
my understanding.
1-877-652-7624 is the Perform Care number. And again, we're here with Jill and Nicole. I have a special surprise for you, too. We're going to go to our Chatting with Cumberland video box. We have a few viewers that submitted a few questions. And we're going to go ahead and submit the first one from Miss Amber Smith, who has a question for Nicole.
Hi, this is Amber Smith giving a shout out to Chatting with Cumberland. You guys are doing an amazing job reaching out to the community and keeping us informed on important events and topics that are happening. The guest today is Nicole Stemberger of the Care Management Organization. I would first like to say thank you for your hard work and dedication to our community. Secondly, my question to Nicole is, does your staff have any required yearly training to do in regards to the youth you serve? For example, is your staff required to complete training on gender-specific, cultural diversity, and LGBTQIA training? Thank you. Bye.
So that was a question from Miss Amber Smith.
Thank you, Amber, for that question and your kind words. Yes, at this care management organization, it is very important for us to have our staff trained in cultural competence and understanding difference. And we have staff who, in addition to training that are required through the system of care and our organization, we make sure that our staff, that this is just a belief of theirs, that we want to partner with folks and understand difference and incorporate that in a way that's really meaningful. So thank you for the question. And yes, that's very important to our organization.
Great. You want to hear another one?
Yeah.
We got another one for you. Mr. Willie Love from Cumberland County got a question for Nicole Stemberger.
Good morning. My name is Willie Love. I want to give a shout out to Chatting It Up with Cumberland Podcast. I appreciate everything that you guys are doing, trying to better our community and just have dialogue about things that are really important and that a lot of people don't know about. And I have a question for Ms. Stemberger. What do you find to be the most challenging part of dealing with the type of children that you deal with and like your emotional response to it? Like, I know it has to take a toll on you as well after you see so many either families struggling or children struggling with certain issues. How do you cope with this, and how do you deal with it and continue to do your job at a high level? Thank you. Appreciate it. God bless.
And that was a question submitted from Willie Love of Cumberland.
Thank you, Willie. That was such a thoughtful question. And yeah, sometimes a toll can be taken on helping professionals, right, who are exposed to hearing a lot of traumatic stories, and we work really hard to support our folks. You know, we want to be those people who are strong for you and be the good listener and be responsive to your needs. We try to take care of our people and remind them to do things related to self-care. So sometimes that's taking time off. Sometimes that's having a supervisor who's very supportive and listens to your concerns. And it's doing things in your life that are going to be just comforting for you, right? Remember to spend times with family and friends and maybe practice things like mindfulness to take care of yourself. But all of our staff, me included, this is the work we love to do. And we just get more motivated to tackle problems. So, you know, as much as there are a lot of hard situations and challenges that folks experience, we know that the strength that our families have shown overcomes those things. And that really is very motivating for them and for us. And we want to be part of that progress and their paths forward.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I want to take a moment to thank our amazing guests for today. Jill, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. We're really looking forward to shooting the long form testimony that we're going to do next after this interview, which will be linked in the description. And Nicole, you'll be joining us for that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And I just wanted to tell you, here at Cumberland, we're not all business all the time. Right, Beth? Right? We can lighten it up a little bit, right? So I just wanted to showcase this new music from Mr. Willie Love. Willie Love is a Christian artist. And a man I'm proud to call my cousin, right? Willie and I have made a lot of music in the past, and I just want to dedicate this song from his new album, Broken Vessel. It's called After This, and it's one of my favorite songs. And we're going to showcase that. And Beth Thomas,
Frank,
tune in,
turn
up,
and get lifted.
We'll catch you on the next one, guys.
Glory to God, I know I'm going after this. No way that I can get there on my own. The world don't want me to know you exist. I wonder why, oh my, what is this? He paid my way and took the nails through the wrist. Saved by grace through faith is a gift. Believe on the name and I repent, that is it. And then you pass from death to life. I preach the simple gospel, that's Christ crucified. I'm coming as I am, you keep your suit and tie. So much division in the church, we should be unified. Die, live eternal, your decision, you decide. Choose a side, you gon' serve one, the other, you'll despise. Phonies can't relate to real, they love the stupid lies. Trust the lust of they eyes, filled with foolish pride. Giants tryna block your blessing, tell them overside. Every knee gon' bow down soon as Jesus arrive. I ask God to do what Biggie did, is supersize. Save my soul, I feel like Jimmy Snuka, Superfly. No point in tryna move a mountain, you know you can climb. The struggle bring the strength out and you don't be scared, be prepared. Send servants out here to win you over the prince of the air. We the heirs, we the royal sons and daughters of the king. We were crowned through the cross, Jesus over everything. I know where I'm going after this. No way that I can get down my own. The world don't want me to know you exist. I wonder why, oh my, what is this? He paid my way and took the nails through the wrist. Saved by grace through faith, it's a gift. Believe on the name and then repent, that is it. And then you pass from death to life. It's no longer I that live, but Christ who live in me. Yeah, I thought I could do it all till I seen what he did in me. And now I preach about the Messiah that set the sinners free and spread love and compassion while I smash the enemy repeating holy scriptures. I know Satan's sick of me. I came to light up the plot like Mike Jack did in Billie Jean. A visionary with his vision, prophesying vivid dreams. I jumped out the mud, dove in the blood and came out clean. I'm not political, I'm biblical. And how I choose to worship God isn't traditional. I follow the way, not the world. I got a different view. He made me in his image, Lord. I pray I be identical. What they take hypothetical, I be taking literal. They fighting in the physical, I battle in the spiritual. I came from the bottom of the pit with the criminals to co-heirs to the throne with my savior at the pinnacle. Glory to God. I know where I'm going after this. No way that I can get down my own. The world don't want me to know you exist. I wonder why, oh my, what is this? He paid my way and took the nails through the wrist. Saved by grace through faith, it's a gift. Believe on the name and then repent, that is it. And then you pass from death to life.